Allow me to introduce myself, Orestes, once a man of ambition and power, and now, a spectre of the past. I recount this tale not for glory or vindication, but to unravel the truth behind my son, Romulus Augustulus, also known as Flavius Romulus Augustus or Romulus Augustus, the last emperor of the Western Roman Empire. As we embark on this journey, we will traverse the corridors of power, betrayal, and downfall, laying bare the story of a child emperor caught in the tempest of history. Romulus Augustulus was born in the year 460 AD, amidst a world in chaos. My heritage, steeped in a mix of Roman and Germanic blood, afforded me a unique position within the empire. My wife, a woman of noble lineage, was the daughter of Count Romulus of Passau, a connection that bestowed our son with a name both illustrious and ominous. Augustulus, as my son was affectionately known, was christened Romulus, after the legendary founder of Rome, and Augustus, echoing the grandeur of the empire's greatest ruler. Yet, history would remember him with a diminutive suffix, Augustulus, reflecting his tender age and the fleeting nature of his reign. Our family hailed from Pannonia, in modern-day Austria, a region that straddled the edge of the collapsing Western Empire. Romulus' early years were marked by the dichotomy of his heritage Roman culture mingled with the resilience of the Germanic tribes. His education was traditional, steeped in Latin literature, rhetoric, and the military arts, as befitting an heir to power. Yet, even as he learned the stories of Rome's glory, the empire itself was fragmenting, with barbarian incursions and internal strife chipping away at its foundations. As his father, I served as a high-ranking officer in the Roman army, navigating the treacherous waters of politics and warfare. My career took a pivotal turn when I became a minister to Attila, the feared king of the Huns. It was there that I honed my skills in diplomacy and intrigue, traits that would later prove both my strength and downfall. The tale of Romulus Augustulus is not just his own but interwoven with mine, a father's ambition and a son's legacy. But why recount this now, you may ask? The answer lies in the shadows of history, where truth often hides. My son's story is one of tragedy and irony, a young boy thrust into the spotlight of an empire's final act. As we move forward, we will explore the turbulent events that led to his ascension, the brief and turbulent reign that followed, and the haunting legacy of the last Roman emperor. Stay with me, dear reader, as we peel back the layers of history, revealing a narrative both dramatic and poignant. In the next part, we will delve into the dramatic events that led to my rise and my son's ascension, a coup that set the stage for a brief and tumultuous reign. But for now, remember this. History often paints its characters in broad strokes, but the truth lies in the details, in the moments of quiet desperation and bold ambition. Let us continue this journey together, with an eye toward the lessons the past holds for us today. In the year 475 AD, the Western Roman Empire was a shadow of its former glory, a fractured realm teetering on the edge of collapse. It was in this tumultuous backdrop that I, Orestes, made my bold move, a coup that would place my son, Romulus Augustulus, on the imperial throne. The empire was desperate for strong leadership, and I believed that through my son, I could restore stability, or at least secure a legacy. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. Julius Nepos, the reigning emperor, was a figurehead controlled by the Eastern Empire and lacked support among the Western Roman aristocracy and military. Seeing an opportunity, I rallied the barbarian troops under my command, men loyal to me, not to Nepos. With a swift and calculated strike, we deposed him, driving him into exile. On October 31, 475, at age 14, Romulus Augustulus was declared emperor, though he was but a boy of 14. The imperial diadem, heavy with the weight of centuries, now rested on the head of a child. Romulus, innocent and unaware of the complexities of power, was thrust into a role for which he was ill-prepared. His ascension was met with little resistance. The Western Empire was exhausted, its people resigned to a succession of puppet rulers. Romulus was no different. His youth and inexperience made him a mere figurehead, a symbol manipulated by those behind the scenes. I, his father, assumed the real power, acting as the regent and master of soldiers. In truth, the empire was under my control, though I wielded that power in my son's name. This was a time of fragile alliances and constant threats. My machinations against Julius Nepos were a gamble, one that appeared to pay off initially. But even as I maneuvered to secure our position, cracks were already appearing in the foundation of our rule. The barbarian mercenaries, crucial to our seizure of power, grew restless and dissatisfied. They were a volatile force, more interested in land and wealth than loyalty to any emperor, be it Nepos or Romulus. Yet, amidst these challenges, there was a fleeting moment of hope, a belief that perhaps, through Romulus, a new era could dawn for the Western Empire. We enacted reforms, attempted to stabilize the currency, and sought to strengthen defenses against the ever-present threat of barbarian invasions. But it was like patching a crumbling wall. The structure was too weakened, the rot too deep. As Romulus donned the purple robe and golden crown, the weight of history pressed down on him. He was the last in a long line of emperors, a lineage stretching back to Augustus himself. But unlike his illustrious predecessors, Romulus was an emperor in name only, a pawn in the larger game of power and survival. As the year turned and our control seemed secure, little did we know that the sands of time were slipping through our fingers. In the next part, we will witness the swift unraveling of our precarious rule, as betrayal and mutiny lead to my demise and Romulus's ignominious fall. The brief reign of Romulus Augustulus was to be defined not by his actions but by the forces that moved against him, a tragic testament to the impermanence of power. The end was near, and the empire's final chapter was about to be written. Stay with me, as the storm clouds gather on the horizon, heralding the end of an era. The winter of 476 AD was harsh, not just in weather but in the chill that settled over the Western Roman Empire. My time as regent was running out, and with it, the brief and fragile reign of my son, Romulus Augustulus. Our empire was a ship adrift in a stormy sea, and the mutiny was brewing below deck. The barbarian mercenaries, the very force that had brought us to power, were growing increasingly restless. They demanded lands in Italy as payment for their service, demands I could not fulfill without causing further unrest among the Roman population. Odoacer, a formidable Germanic leader, emerged as the voice of the discontented soldiers. Charismatic and cunning, he rallied the troops to his cause, promising them the rewards I had withheld. My refusal to grant the demands was the final straw. A mutiny erupted, and the troops, now loyal to Odoacer, turned against me. As the walls of our power began to crumble, I realized too late the precariousness of our position. My machinations against Glycerius, who had been appointed by the Eastern Roman Empire, had set a precedent for betrayal and power plays that now worked against me. On August 28, 476, the mutiny reached its climax. Odoacer's forces stormed the city of Pavia, where I had sought refuge. There was no escape. The once loyal soldiers captured me. In a grim ritual of retribution, I was executed, leaving Romulus defenseless and alone in Ravenna. My death marked the end of my ambitious plans, a stark reminder of the capriciousness of fortune. The father, who had sought to rule through his son, had fallen to the very forces he had once commanded. Romulus, still just a boy, faced the full brunt of the empire's collapse. Stripped of his titles and power, he was spared the same fate as me only because of his youth and perceived innocence. Odoacer, recognizing the symbolic end of an era, chose to spare Romulus's life. He was given a pension and sent to live with relatives in Campania, far from the political turmoil that had marked his brief reign. Thus, the last emperor of the Western Roman Empire faded into obscurity, a living relic of a fallen world. The image of Romulus, the child emperor, being led away from the seat of power is a poignant one, a symbol of innocence lost and the inevitable march of history. The Western Roman Empire, once a beacon of civilization, had reached its twilight, with Romulus Augustulus marking its final gasp. His deposition signaled not just the end of an empire but the dawn of a new era, where barbarian kings would carve out their own kingdoms from the remnants of Rome's once vast territories. In the next part, we will explore the obscure and quiet life Romulus led after his fall from grace, a life away from the intrigues of power. His story, largely hidden from history, offers a glimpse into the fate of those left in the wake of empire's end. As we delve into his later years, we will see how the legacy of the last Roman emperor lives on, not in grand deeds or monuments, but in the quiet resilience of a young man who once held the world in his hands. Join me as we continue to unravel this tale, a story of endings and new beginnings, of power lost and the uncertain future that followed. The fall of Romulus Augustulus was swift, and his subsequent life faded into the shadowy recesses of history. After being deposed, Romulus was sent to the region of Campania, far from the tumultuous political landscape of Rome. There, he lived under the watchful eye of a Doacer, who, despite his conquest, showed a rare leniency towards the young ex-emperor. It is said that Romulus was granted a modest pension, enough to live a quiet life, away from the power struggles and intrigues that had once surrounded him. For a boy who had briefly worn the imperial purple, the transition to obscurity must have been jarring. Imagine the contrast. From the grandeur of the imperial court, where every word and gesture was laden with significance, to the quiet countryside, where he became just another Roman citizen. In Campania, Romulus found refuge in the villa of his relatives, shielded from the chaos that had enveloped the rest of the Western Empire. His days were likely filled with the simple pleasures of rural life, a far cry from the responsibilities and dangers of being a puppet emperor. Historians offer scant details about Romulus's life after his deposition, but we can piece together a narrative from the fragments that remain. It is believed he lived a long life, possibly reaching into the early 6th century. There are whispers of him being alive during the reign of Theodoric the Great, the Ostrogothic king who ruled Italy. If true, Romulus would have witnessed the transformation of Italy from a Roman province to a kingdom ruled by Germanic kings, a poignant reminder of the dramatic shifts in power that defined his era. In this quiet existence, Romulus Augustulus was both fortunate and tragic. He escaped the violent death that befell many deposed rulers, living instead as a relic of a bygone age. His very name became a symbol of the end of an empire, an ironic twist given its origin. The boy named after Rome's legendary founder and its first emperor was now a symbol of its last days. The world around him changed, but Romulus remained, a living testament to the end of an era. The fate of Romulus Augustulus serves as a poignant reminder of the impermanence of power and the capricious nature of history. Once the center of an empire's destiny, he became a footnote, his life shrouded in the mists of time. The story of the last emperor of the Western Roman Empire does not end with his deposition but rather continues in the quietude of his later years, a life lived in the shadow of what once was. In the next part, we will reflect on the legacy of Romulus Augustulus and the broader implications of the fall of the Western Roman Empire. We will explore how the ambitions of men like me, Orestes, and the challenges of succession contributed to the empire's decline. As we consider the lessons from this tumultuous period, we will draw parallels to our own time, where the rise and fall of powers continue to shape our world. Stay with me as we journey through the echoes of history, seeking wisdom in the ruins of an empire. The legacy of Romulus Augustulus, the last emperor of the Western Roman Empire, is as enigmatic as it is symbolic. His reign, though brief and largely powerless, marked the official end of an era. The fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD was not just the end of a political entity but the culmination of centuries of decline, a confluence of internal strife, economic instability, and relentless external pressure from barbarian groups. As the father of Augustulus, my role in this narrative was pivotal yet fraught with the complexities of ambition and loyalty. My attempts to stabilize the empire through my son were ultimately futile. The Western Empire, long weakened by corruption and inefficiency, could not withstand the cumulative forces arrayed against it. My decisions usurping Julius Nepos and elevating Romulus to the throne were born from a desire to control and protect, but they inadvertently hastened the end. The empire's reliance on mercenary forces, particularly barbarian troops, was a double-edged sword that cut both ways. When promises of land and reward went unfulfilled, these troops turned against us, seeing Odoacer as a more viable leader. Romulus Augustulus, while a child and a figurehead, became a poignant symbol of the end of Roman rule in the West. His deposition did not incite significant resistance or mourning, an indication of how far the empire had fallen in the esteem of its people. The real power had long since shifted away from the imperial seat to local rulers and barbarian chieftains who wielded actual control over territories. The Senate in Rome, once a powerhouse of political decision-making, was reduced to a mere advisory body, its influence waning in the face of these new powers. The story of Romulus and myself is a reflection of the broader issues that plagued the empire: ineffective leadership, the instability of succession, and the failure to integrate diverse peoples into a cohesive political and cultural framework. The ambitions of individuals, from generals like myself to the various usurpers who sought the throne, often led to short-term gains but long-term instability. The repeated divisions of the empire, economic hardships, and the erosion of traditional Roman values and governance contributed to a slow but inevitable decline. As we consider the lessons from this period, we are reminded of the dangers of over-reliance on military power and the need for strong, consistent governance. This epoch is also of the fall of Rome is often seen as a cautionary tale about the vulnerabilities of even the most powerful states. It speaks to the importance of adaptability, cultural integration, and economic stability in sustaining a civilization. In the final part, we will draw from these historical reflections to offer lessons for today, considering how the challenges of succession, leadership, and greed continue to play out in modern contexts. We will also explore how the Renaissance spirit can inspire us to learn from the past, embrace knowledge, and strive for a more just and equitable world. Join me as we conclude this tale with a look toward the future, informed by the past and inspired by the enduring legacy of Rome. As I, Orestes, reflect on the fall of the Western Roman Empire, it becomes clear that the end of Rome was not merely a historical event but a mirror reflecting timeless truths about power, ambition, and human nature. The story of Romulus Augustulus, my son, serves as a poignant reminder of the consequences of unchecked ambition, the fragility of empires, and the perils of political instability. Check out our other videos in the My Life as a Roman Emperor, as well as 2 new videos coming soon on the fall of the Roman Emperor and our soon-to-be-released video on the life and reign of Odoacer. Our series will take a week off and return with a video introducing the Roman Republic. Then we'll start back with a video on Caesar and continue from the beginning with Augustus in future videos. The decline of Rome was not an overnight collapse but a gradual erosion exacerbated by a series of poor decisions, including those made by myself. The constant power struggles, the use of foreign mercenaries, and the lack of a clear succession plan created a volatile environment ripe for exploitation. In my quest to secure power through my son, I inadvertently played into the very dynamics that hastened the empire's end. My actions, driven by a blend of personal ambition and a misguided sense of duty, underscore the dangers of prioritizing short-term gains over long-term stability. Romulus Augustulus's reign was a mere footnote in the grand tapestry of Roman history, yet it symbolizes the culmination of systemic failures. The young emperor, thrust into a role he neither sought nor understood, became a puppet in a game controlled by others. This echoes the broader issue of governance without true authority, where the appearance of power is maintained even as the actual control slips away. The empire, much like Romulus, was a shell of its former self cloaked in the trappings of power but hollow within. To learn more about myself or my son, visit the places where history comes alive. There are several significant historical sites where one can step back in time and walk in my son's or my footsteps. In Ravenna, the capital of the Western Roman Empire during their reign, visitors can explore the mausoleum of Theoderic, where Romulus is believed to have spent his final years. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is a stunning example of early medieval architecture and offers a glimpse into the transition period between the classical and medieval eras. Another key location is Pavia, where I met my end. The city's ancient history is reflected in its medieval structures and the remnants of Roman fortifications. While the exact spot of my death may be lost to history, the city's rich heritage provides a tangible connection to the past. In Rome itself, the Colosseum and the Roman Forum are timeless reminders of the grandeur of the empire. Though Romulus Augustulus's reign was a shadow of the city's former glory, these iconic sites remain powerful symbols of Rome's enduring legacy. For those interested in the broader history of the Roman Empire, the Capitoline Museums house a vast collection of artifacts, including statues, inscriptions, and coins that bring to life the story of Rome's rise and fall. One fascinating way to connect with the past is through the collection of ancient Roman coins. Coins from Romulus Augustulus's reign are rare and highly prized by collectors. A notable example is the AV Solidus minted in Rome between October 475 and September 476 AD. This coin features a diademed, helmeted, and cuirassed bust of Romulus Augustulus on one side, holding a spear over his shoulder and a shield decorated with a horseman spearing a fallen enemy. The reverse side depicts victory standing left, holding a long jeweled cross, with the inscription, Victoria AVGGG, and the mint mark, RM cut over a star, comma. Collecting such coins offers a unique opportunity to hold a piece of history, connecting collectors with the people, events, and cultures of ancient times. Each coin tells a story, not just of the emperor it depicts, but of the economy, artistry, and politics of its era. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, exploring the world of ancient Roman coin collecting can be a rewarding journey into the past. The fall of Rome offers enduring lessons, particularly about the importance of adaptability, strong leadership, and the integration of diverse cultures and peoples. The inability of Roman leaders to effectively manage the empire's vast and diverse population contributed to its fragmentation. Today, as we face global challenges, political, social, and environmental, Rome's downfall serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of division, inequality, and the failure to embrace change. In this spirit, the Renaissance Spirit Channel is dedicated to exploring these historical lessons, drawing parallels between the past and the present, and advocating for a just, equitable, and humanitarian world. Our topics encompass a wide range of areas, including history, politics, religion, personal development, society, culture, social and environmental justice, and the liberal arts and sciences. We particularly focus on ancient Rome and the Roman Empire, using these as lenses through which to view the modern world. This exploration is perfect for the modern polymath, those who seek to understand and improve the world through a deep engagement with diverse knowledge. The Renaissance, a period of revival and discovery, reminds us of the power of knowledge and the potential for human progress. It birthed the Enlightenment and the Age of Reason, encouraging a pursuit of truth, compassion, and a shared understanding of humanity. Embracing these ideals, the Renaissance spirit aims to inspire a love of learning and a commitment to bettering the world. By reflecting on history and understanding our shared past, we can become better stewards of the earth and more compassionate to one another. If you're intrigued by the stories and insights we share, please subscribe to the Renaissance Spirit channel. Turn on notifications to stay updated, and don't hesitate to share our content with others. Explore our other videos and join the conversation in the comments. Let us know what resonates with you and what you'd like to see more of. But first, take our quiz to discover if you embody the Renaissance spirit. Live the Renaissance spirit, an ethos not just of learning and growth, but of thinking critically and compassionately about our world and our place within it. As we conclude this tale, remember that history is not just a series of events but a living legacy that shapes our present and future. The story of Romulus Augustulus, my son, is more than just the end of an empire. It is a testament to the enduring relevance of history in understanding and navigating the complexities of our world today.